Hello, hello. Welcome back to a not touch designer tutorial, but something else that has been on my mind and body and everything for the last 3 years. A lot of you probably know, but I just wanted to really give an overview and I just kind of need to get this off my chest because it's been completely upending my life. And some of you might be wondering where the hell I've been. Maybe not, I don't know. Maybe nobody really cares. I might just need to sort of make this video. So, yeah, I've been dealing with long COVID for around 3 years or like 2.5 by now. And it's really been the worst thing that's ever happened to me. But I also feel like in the long term, it really is quite the blessing in a way. But I will get to that later. But yeah, I don't know if if anybody wants to see this or hear about this, maybe it helps some people. To also know that they're not alone with this, and maybe they even realize that they have long COVID. Maybe they didn't even know before. I'm also going to talk about some things that helped and things that didn't help. So yeah, maybe you can also share what it was like for you, or if you know somebody or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of improvised video. I'm just gonna be talking about this because I've been thinking about this for a while. So as I said, it started around 3 years ago. So in 2022, during that time, I was actually in a relationship that I ended that year, and that was extremely dramatic. And that probably was kind of the starting point for me to actually where things really got bad. Not right afterwards, and I'm not gonna blame that person at all for what I went through. Definitely not. But that emotional trigger and all that really difficult time, I think, really kind of started it for me. And it were these first signs once in a while, here and there, that I noticed after sport. I was getting really, really tired, like extraordinarily tired, like not the normal kind of tired, the kind of fatigue. And I was super exhausted, or even, yeah, after traveling or something, I was just disproportionately fucked, basically. So yeah, then it got slowly worse and worse, and eventually in fall of 2022, I realized, like on autumn, I don't know, I'm German, I switch between like British and US American English. Anyways, at some point I noticed like what the fuck is happening. Like I remember one time I was recording a tutorial as I used to do quite often, and afterwards I was like feeling so bad and so fucked and so tired and in a really bad mood, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And after a while, I don't even know exactly because it's also been 3 years, but eventually I sort of realized, and I actually spoke to my doctor and everything, and at some point it was clear, like, all right, I've got long COVID or post COVID, it doesn't really matter, I'm going to go with long COVID for now. So basically, that is the condition that includes over 200 different symptoms. It's not like I had all of them, but it's a very complex kind of sickness, and a very new one in a way. But that happens, or is sort of diagnosed when you have persisting issues after a COVID infection. Maybe right afterwards. For me, it was actually 1 year after I was infected with COVID. And it might actually also be due to the vaccine. There's also post-vax, so that is a thing, and that's pretty much the same thing. It really doesn't matter in the end if it's the vaccine or the virus that caused the issues. The issues are really quite the same. If you have post-vac, you're just gonna be facing even more shitstorm from other people and even less acceptance. So that's just gonna make it even more difficult. But generally, people are kind of not very accepting of the sickness, and that's also one of the things that makes it very difficult. Well, in total, over the last 3 years, I went through probably like 4 major phases that were, yeah, between a few months or like half a year. There were times in between where I was definitely feeling better, and that was probably one of the things that was also confusing for other people, also for me. But some people were like, well, like probably confused because I turned up at like events, at parties, at gatherings. I was working once in a while. I was telling everybody I'm fine again. I found my cure, and because I found my cure like fucking 10 times or even more, or I thought I did, and I never actually did, because always the sickness came back, and it has until now, and it might still come back, but I will get back to that soon. Well, yeah. So the first phase was, yeah, end of 2022, and I remember in 2023 I was getting better. I was actually in Bali on my own. which was an amazing time. And after that, I had 2 or 3 more months of just being like super happy and well. And I was just kind of like, oh my God, I'm cured and I'm well and everything is fine. And I actually got to meet my now girlfriend, and life was good. And then I think around August or more like September 2023, things got worse again, and actually really, really bad, like worse than before. That was one of the worst times was, yeah, like the autumn and winter of 2023, then 24 beginning. Um, yeah, I was like, there were so many symptoms, and like I tried everything. I was desperate as fuck, like completely desperate. I was shattered. I was completely on the floor. Like I didn't know what to do anymore, and I really couldn't like figure out what to do. Like I tried a lot of things, like different diets and a lot of supplements and this and that. Nothing really helped, and that's kind of the normal experience for most people with long COVID. Well, and then it kind of got better again. I went to Bali again in last year, so 2024, in like February, March. We had a very, very intense time there. I went there with Marta Ploys, Stefan from the Node Institute of Nima. And first 2 weeks we did like project there for the dome that didn't exist then. And also we gave workshops and everything. So it was like super intense 5 weeks actually I was there. It was a great time. I also had some troubles with my girlfriend during that time, and I was just like, I was just stuffed to the max. Like I was just like, I couldn't take any more. I was just like, it was too much. And I had the worst crash of all the crashes after that. Like I came back to Berlin, and one day I was fine. And then the next day I was like vomiting. I was like feeling like I'm basically just like dying, really. I was really feeling like I was dying. It was absolutely, absolutely terrible. It got better over the course of like a month, slowly, but I barely really recovered from that. And then over the summer, over the summer it was sort of better again, and I thought like, okay, nice, but like, yeah, it wasn't good, but it was a bit better. And again, I tried to kind of live a normal life. I was leading a long distance relationship, which really didn't make things easier because I had to go there, and it was a lot of emotional drama, and yeah, a lot of issues on that side also because of my sickness. And yeah, and then the last phase was kind of this winter, and it sort of lasted till this year, and now I'm slowly getting better, but I will get back to that. So I prepared this little list here if you want to see all the different symptoms that I went through. Mainly it was fatigue, and fatigue, I don't know if you can imagine that kind of fatigue. It's sort of like you've partied for like a week straight and you didn't sleep at all. It's not just like you're a bit like sleepy. There's sleepy and there's tired. And I was definitely like completely tired, like no energy at all. Like you can't even get out of the bed sometimes, or you go to the toilet, and that is so exhausting. And that is the main symptom, really, chronic fatigue syndrome. But I don't think it's a good choice of words because it's not extreme enough. Because it's like it fucks you up completely. And yeah, just my body was feeling really bad. There was this heaviness. I had headaches, all kinds of pains all over the body, changing with the different sort of seasons or phases that I was talking about. Not the seasons like outside, it doesn't matter if the weather is good. It's nothing to do with that. Often when with this kind of illness, which is in many ways similar and also sort of sprinkled with parts of depression, it's very similar to depression, and often actually confused or misdiagnosed as depression, because the depression is very much a part of it, obviously. But yeah, it's the weather is nice outside, and it doesn't feel good in a lot of cases. It's just like even more depressing because you're like, well, it's like maybe 27 degrees Celsius. We're not in the US here, and I'm not gonna accept Fahrenheit ever, so it's always gonna be Celsius. Anyways, yeah, so it's like really nice weather outside. Everybody's meeting outside and having a good time. At least that's sort of what you're picturing. And you're just like, the universe is just kind of mocking me. That's what it feels like. And it's just even more depressing. So actually, generally, like if I'm down, if I'm sick, I prefer rain. So please, nobody ever tell me, well, you just need to go out in the sun. It doesn't work like that. And one of the worst things as well, apart from fatigue and all these pains, is PEM, also called post-exertional malaise. That's what it stands for. And that just means that your symptoms, whatever they are, get worse after exertion. So that can be anything, physical, mental, emotional. It can be exercise, it can be work. And for me, unfortunately, working at the computer was really often the worst thing, like the most straining thing, and it still kind of is. I had heart racing, like really high BPM for no reason, even if I was sitting or laying down. I couldn't eat anything for a while without feeling bad. Like literally, I couldn't drink tea for a while without feeling bad. So imagine that. Sleeping issues, I've had that all through the time. Now it's finally good, actually. Don't have insomnia anymore. But for anybody who's struggled with severe insomnia, you know what it's like. It's fucking awful. It's really fucking awful. Like you just try to sleep so badly, and it just gets into this weird, like, yeah, vicious circle, right? Like you try even harder and you harder, and in the end, like especially when you're sick, you're just like, I just want to sleep. I just want to sleep. Same with depression, and then you can't, and that's like the worst thing. So that was one of the most difficult parts for me. Like my girlfriend next to me is just like, good night, and like after 2 minutes, she's just like asleep, and I'm like, well, good for you, and I'm like, I'm gonna be lying here for another 3 hours, feeling terrible, my heart racing, pains all over the body, feeling super anxious, and I know I'm not gonna be able to sleep. So that's been a extremely difficult battle that I finally kind of got under control now. Nausea has actually only been in the last sort of half a year, maybe. Also, like, yeah, you know, terrible if you have that every day, all the time. And it's not kind of on here, all kinds of aches are on here, but really just like chronic pain all over the body. That's really just like anybody who's experienced chronic pain, it really does something with you. Like it's hard to explain, but like anything you do, anything, all of your life is painted with pain. Anything. You can't fully enjoy what you're doing because always there is pain. And the only thing that really kind of got rid of that often, at least temporarily, was meditation for me, which often got my pain levels down drastically, which is still fascinating to me. Sometimes painkillers help, but often they didn't. And now I've found a way to deal with that, and I come to that later. But yeah, it really fucks with you. There's all these other things. These were just like the body parts. As I said, I was very much depressed a lot of the time. I had strong anxiety, like really bad, and I still some sort of do in connection to my work, and that's another topic I will talk about. But yeah, anybody who's had extreme anxiety and even sometimes like panic attacks knows how fucking terrible that is. Obviously, loneliness, like you feel cut off from the world. You are literally cut off from the world. And I both felt like bad about being addicted to my phone because that was kind of the only thing that I could kind of do. Because I often couldn't even read or watch television or anything because it was just too much. Like my phone was often the only thing I could use on listen to audiobooks and this kind of stuff. And it was often the only connection to the outside world that I had. But at the same time, it's like you just see in like groups what people are doing and they're meeting, they're living their normal life, and you're just like inside on a Friday night. You may not even have realized that it's Friday night. That often actually happened, that I took a walk or something, just a short walk around my area, and I was like, why is there so many people? Oh, right, it's Friday. It's weekend. People are doing normal things. And then you're just like inside in pain, feeling super depressed, anxious, and just kind of feel like you've lost your life. And that's really what it felt like a lot of the times. And that's actually kind of what it was. Like I lost my life, and I'm slowly now in the process of rebuilding it. But yeah, loneliness is a huge part because people are slowly just like not caring anymore. It really showed, like I really lost a lot of friends, or what I considered friends before, which I kind of don't anymore because they simply weren't there when I was in the worst phase of my life. Like only a few people are now what I consider like proper friends because they were there. They reached out once in a while, or at least they were like kind of sort of kind and interested once I reached out. And because a lot of the times you can't reach out, like if you're in a super depressed, anxious, fucked up, chronically ill state, you cannot reach out to people. And I'm also sorry that I couldn't like answer a lot of the messages that I got on Instagram, on YouTube, on Discord, on Patreon, wherever. Like I just couldn't. I literally just couldn't. There was like this wall between me and the world. And I just couldn't kind of get through that. So yeah, irritability, brain fog, you might have heard of that. It's just kind of like you just feel really dumb in a way, and you can't really think complex thoughts. And then maybe, there was this whole thing of my girlfriend we were in a long distance relationship, and she kind of wanted me to make a decision about where like she should move here or not, or even just, a small decision like what do I eat today, like there are these all kinds of, that's a whole range of like very big life decisions or small decisions on an everyday life, and any decision is just completely overwhelming. You're just like, I cannot decide, I have no idea, like I just want the pain to stop. Like you're just like you're just in this like tube and you're just thinking like I just want to feel better, I just want to get healthy, everything else has to wait, like please don't bother me with anything right now, I'm in pain, I want this to be over. And that's what obviously is very difficult for other people as well, especially your loved ones. And I noticed also with my parents, which were very supportive, they often came to like points where they're like, we really don't know what to do anymore. And that was so difficult for me because they're like the people that I can always come to with problems, and they're always there to help and listen, but they often were like, we're out of ideas, man. Like we literally cannot help you. And that's like, nobody can help you. Like I went through all kinds of like doctors, and you get all these tests and everything just looks fine. And that's also the normal thing about long COVID. Like it doesn't matter how many tests you do, they're always going to be, in most cases, they're just going to be normal. And the doctors are just like, there's nothing wrong with you. Like I didn't hear anything for like 3 months straight. I went to a ear doctor kind of thing, and they told me like, wow, your hearing is really good. And I was like, well, no, it's not. And yeah, so it's so weird, like this discrepancy between like the external, and also because it's like an invisible illness people don't see. And that's what I was also saying in the beginning, because there are these phases where you're doing well. These phases might just be a day long, maybe some hours, maybe a week or two, maybe a few months. But then like you go out and you meet people, you might even party, you might even, I don't know, give workshops or whatever, right? And then people are like, why is he saying that he's like sick? He looks completely normal. I never looked sick in any way. Like I might have looked tired once in a while, but I often even heard like, wow, you look really good today, like in a way like I will look fresh and energetic or something. I was like, no, I feel awful. Why are you saying this? I mean, I know it's always meant in a nice way, but it's like, I don't feel like that. And that's so difficult because people just don't realize how bad you're actually doing. And one good example is like once I had like a normal cold, like beginning of this year. And I looked terrible. You can really see it very well in my, like I get really red and swollen eyes. I just look terrible when I get a cold. And then people was like really empathetic, right? Or generally when people just see that you're sick, or maybe when you're in a wheelchair. I don't want to compare, like it's terrible to be in a wheelchair, and I don't want to like talk that down, but in a way at least people see that you have a problem, right? Like when you have something like long COVID or many other diseases that are sort of invisible, people just don't see, and they cannot feel your pain. They might just think you're rude or lazy, or that you just don't want to spend time with them. But it's never about that. It's always just like, you have to take care of yourself, because you already feel at the end of the night that way. You maybe went to a meetup. I often went to touch designer meetups, and I already noticed on the way back, oh fuck, well that's gonna be a crash tomorrow. And then for 3 days I was laying in my bed with pain and with all my symptoms flaring up. And that's one of the main things. You have to learn how to pace, and how to stop, like kind of how to break, like, take the break before it's happening to you. Like you have to stop yourself before you're getting stopped by your body. And that's extremely difficult and extremely frustrating, obviously, because I'm 29, and when it started I was like 26, 27. And yeah, you just feel like, well, I just went through a fucking pandemic. I now want to really live my life. I really want to start with my work. I want to party. I want to just go out. I want to travel. I want to experience things. But no, all you can do is just lay at home and do absolutely nothing, because otherwise you're just going to feel extremely bad. Yeah. So one thing that might be most relevant here is actually work, right? And my connection to art. Because in the beginning, I mean, I started my whole career kind of in the pandemic, during the pandemic. For like maybe 3 years, I could really like work a lot, and luckily I did, because that's really what got me through the last 2 or 3 years, that I could sort of, in a way, lay back, which sounds like it's something enjoyable, but it absolutely wasn't. Like I always wanted to work. I really want to work. I love my work. I love touch design, and I love the community. And I constantly felt pressured and bad, not because anybody pressured me, but because it was very deep inside me, and I had to really learn to let that go. But that also kind of meant that for months and months, and in total now, like 2 or 3 years, I haven't had a proper relationship to art and to touch designer and to the community. Like there's always only been these sporadic kind of, maybe, as I said, like really short phases. Maybe just one day I was like, wow, I feel inspired and I can work. Sometimes it was maybe like a month or two where I could finally sort of more get back. But I just feel like I'm constantly like trying to catch up. And now also the whole community and like touch designer itself, the software, the whole AI world and everything, it has progressed so much. I feel like completely left behind. Like you kind of feel, I always thought it was a good metaphor, like you're on a ship with all of your life, or your ship is kind of your, that the ship is kind of your life, with all the people on there, like work related, friends, family, whatever. And then because of the sickness, they just kind of, you just get off that ship and you're being put on an island, and that ship is just slowly driving away, quite slowly. It's not like it's like suddenly driving, it's not like a very fast boat or ship, but you can see it slowly. Maybe sometimes you even kind of make it back on the boat, but then you're just being put off again, and you just see it driving further and further away until you just feel like you can barely even see it. And then you're just like, I'm now alone on this island, and I've lost the connection to so many things, to so many people. And one of the most difficult part, apart from leaving, from kind of, yeah, missing friends and kind of losing connection to friends and people, is having lost the connection to my art. And I just really don't know what to do, how to do it. I don't know how to approach anymore. There's so much fear in sitting on the computer, because so often I tried and I was like, just even after half an hour or maybe a day of working intensely on the computer, I crashed and I felt really, really bad afterwards. So there's a deep fear now that the computer is really not well for me and my body. And it's got me questioning a lot of my work. I just don't know how to get in the flow anymore. I don't know how to be creative anymore. I've never been so disconnected from making art in my entire life, because I've always been making art from, I don't know, like as soon as I could, I started making art. And during all my school, and always all kinds of different forms, like maybe music, drawing, designing even, or touch designer, coding, whatever it is, I've always been making art. And now I've been completely disconnected from it. And I just don't know how to get back to it. And that's kind of the process that I'm in. And I just feel like I want to share that, because it's, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm like, I need to sort of, like I'm owing anybody anything in my head anyways. Maybe deep down, I kind of feel like that, even though I rationally know that it's not the case. But, like I've constantly I'm being paid through Patreon. And maybe you understand that when you get paid in a very well amount, and I'm extremely grateful and happy that that was happening, because if I hadn't gotten paid during all of this time through Patreon, so at least that whole financial aspect wasn't something that I had to be afraid of. So that was a huge part, obviously. So I'm extremely grateful that I still got paid from the community. So definitely that there's that part. But on the other hand, I always felt guilty in a way, and I think that's very natural and normal. It's not healthy, and it just creates more pressure. But that's just kind of how it was for me, and I'm still trying to cope with that. And it's gotten much better, and obviously kind of I also got more of a patience, or a kind of more compassion with myself. I generally learned a ton through this whole experience, and that's also why I'm thinking like long term this is a blessing, because I had to sit alone with myself in the worst state ever without much distraction for weeks and months, and I got through it. Like I feel like I'm a much better person, a much stronger person, much more resilient, much more compassionate, and all of that. But still I'm having these issues with my work basically, and the community, and I feel guilty in a way, even though I know I shouldn't. And I don't know really why I'm making this video, but I want to share a few things that have helped me in the last year. I would say I only feel like I really started sort of getting on the right path in the last year, really in the last 4 or 5 months. But the first thing that really, really helped me was acupuncture. Acupuncture, a traditional Chinese medicine, also called TCM. That kind of got me started in the way, on a way where I was kind of like thinking, okay, like I'm actually slowly healing. Like I'm not just kind of trying out here and there. I'm not just like swimming in this fucking suffering, or not knowing where's up and down. I'm not saying that suddenly everything was perfect, but that really kind of got me on a good track, with still a lot of up and downs. But I was even able to go to Canada in the last autumn, and that's also maybe something that might seem weird to the outside, right? Like you're like 1 month you're posting or you're just sharing, or people just kind of know like, wow, you're super sick, you can't even leave the house, and then you're in Canada for 3 weeks, traveling around, feeling great. And that's the weird thing about this sickness as well. Another little thing I need to cut in here is meditation. That has been, I've briefly mentioned it, but it's really been one of the most crucial and important things. It didn't only, as I said, like lower my pain levels very like acutely, but it also really fucking helped me like, long term, and helped me calm down my nervous system, because really like that's one of the main issues with long COVID, is that it's a nervous system dysregulation. So like you're constantly overreacting to everything, whatever it may be. And so it really helps physically, actually, like you feel much calmer, and like it just really like gets down your symptoms because your nervous system is relaxing. But it also really helps obviously on the mental part and emotional part. Like often I woke up feeling really really like depressed, or like not wanting to even leave the bed. It's more like I'd rather sleep. But then you get up, and the first thing I do in the morning is always like, at least for 20, usually for 30 minutes, I meditate. And now always in front of like a daylight lamp, which actually also really helps, especially in winter. But after that, I'm almost like a different person. I'm just like way more okay with things, and way more like grounded, and just kind of hopeful, and not as irritable. And yeah, so that's one of the main things really that I have to mention here, because it's been extremely important. And obviously there's been some supplements, but I feel like I haven't really tried any specific ones that were like, oh my god, I guess the best that I really kind of felt that work is magnesium and also omega-3. But apart from that, like, forget about the supplements. I don't think they really ever did much to me. But you all got to take vitamin D anyways, if you have a sickness or not. But yeah, the other thing is low dose naltrexone, which has kind of saved my life, I would say. It's really gotten me on a different kind of path. It's really taken a lot of the anxiety, a lot of the pain, really, the physical pain, I mean. It's really helped. Not right away. I mean, kind of right away, but I was experimenting a lot with like different dosages and different timing, whatever. It's a very weird experimental kind of drug to take. But to whoever is suffering with this chronic illness, please at least give it a try. Like, inform yourself. There's a really good subreddit, and yeah, look for low dose naltrexone, because it can really be extremely helpful. And the other thing is that, and I'm very much in the process of that, and it might seem really weird, but I'm now doing ketamine therapy. So you might know ketamine as like a party drug, or as the horse tranquilizer, which is actually just complete bullshit. It's not a horse tranquilizer at all. I mean, it can be used for that, but mainly what it is, and what it has been for like over 60 years now, or like 50 years, is just a human medicine, really. It's an anesthetic. It's mainly being used to just completely knock you out for like surgery, or, really bad cases, or of like, I don't know, you broke your leg, whatever it is, right? It's as anesthetic, but in other doses, it can be used therapeutically. Yeah. And that's what I'm doing it for. So I've only had 2 sessions, but I'm doing 6 in total, and it's already helped me so much. Like, dealing with all of this bullshit, relieving all of my anxiety, my depression, and it's just been a great help on getting a different perspective on things. And I'm still very much using it to hopefully also reconnect with my work and with my art. I really want to. That's kind of the main goal for me now, to reconnect with my art, apart from really stabilizing and getting healthy. And another thing is just reconnecting with people, and really finding out like, how do I want to live? I'm basically in the process of rebuilding my life, or actually building my own authentic life for the first time, because I was studying, and then I was a pandemic, and then I was sick, and in between there were breakups, and there were like all kinds of issues and difficulties. So now I'm almost 30, and I feel like, well, I technically have a lot of potential. I have all of this thing built up. I'm in a city that has a lot of potential, Berlin. I'm building this new project, Pixel Forest, with Marcha employees, which is amazing, and which is actually, yeah, it gives me a lot of hope also, that I can get back into a structure, and that I can have a good place of working, and not just be alone at home all the time, but actually collaborate and meet a lot of people. So I will share a link in the description, so you can also check that out. But yeah, again, I don't really know why exactly I'm doing this video. I just really want to like share what's been happening to me. And again, I know I shouldn't, and I know I don't have to, but I still feel sorry in a way that I wasn't there, and not just sorry to other people, also sorry for myself. And yeah, I just really want to work, and I know I don't have to explain, but I just feel like I should get this off my chest, and it's kind of a relief to share this and to be very transparent, because I generally feel like that's the best way to approach things. Be completely open and transparent and not hide anything. And I just couldn't share, and I just couldn't be there, and I just couldn't make videos. And now I just need to take my time, and I need to build my life now. And I really, I also just, this should also just be an update that I'm still there. And I don't want to stop this work. And even though the scene has changed, and even though there's AI now, creating a lot of like weird new things and circumstances, and a lot of questions like, why the hell am I even doing art? Or what is my place in this world as an artist now where we have AI? So there's a lot of questions like that that I have been asking myself for a while now, even without being actually able to make art. But I'm still here, and I still want to continue, and I just don't know, and I cannot promise anything anymore, and I will not. But I'm deeply grateful for the support that I have gotten. And if you know anybody with long COVID, reach out to them, support them, or even not just long COVID, but any chronic illness, anything like depression. If you know people that have that, reach out to them, be there for them. And if you yourself have these kind of issues, seek help. You can also reach out to me. I'm happy to chat about this. I'm happy to help. Obviously, I'm not a therapist, and I also don't really want to be, at least not on like an online therapist for the whole community. But I can be there. I can help, and also just reach out to people, connect to people if you need help, if you can give help. Because I think, like, especially in these times, these are very dividing times, right? With all the political bullshit that's going on, like in all kinds of countries, I feel like it's more important than ever to reconnect, to really meet in person, and to just be there for each other. Even though that sounds very cheesy, but it's just the truth. And it's also one of the reasons we're building a project in Berlin now, like a physical space, because we feel like it's very important, and we really want to like kind of go against this bullshit tide that's happening right now. And let's reconnect. Let's be there for each other. And I hope I'm back now, slowly and with care and with a lot of compassion for myself. But thank you for watching, if you've watched all of this, and I will see you very soon. Much love.